Hey guys, Michael the DC Multiverse Collector here. Long time no see. It's been a long time since I've been talking toys with you guys. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. I know it's now March, and I deeply apologize for those months of no communication, no videos, but there's been a lot going on in my personal life, in my professional life. Just a whole bunch of stuff going on. That's not for this video, but the point is, I'm back and I have a whole bunch of new DC Multiverse figures from McFarlane Toys to have a look at, which is super exciting, and I'm really pumped. You'll see we have here a selection of figures: Batman 89, Michael Keaton, the Collector Edition Captain Cold, Tempest, the Jokerized Death Metal Batman, and the Toxin Batman from Batman Begins. But before we get into the figures, I just wanted to say I'm not going to talk in this video about the recent news about the license for DC Toys going to Mattel. That's probably for another video down the line, and frankly, we just don't have all the details yet. We don't know the extent to which McFarlane may still be involved in producing DC Direct stuff or statues, or, you know, I think we just need to let the dust settle and see what plays out before we weigh in on that too heavily. I'm here to focus on the line that is still going at least for another year, so let's get into it. The only other thing I wanted to say is, look, hey, even though I've been away for a long time, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel, like this video if it's entertaining to you in the end. That's always appreciated. And I just wanted to say a huge thanks to the folks at Icon Collectibles for sending me these samples for review. Big thank you to Icon, much appreciated. Your support of the channel means a lot to me. Now, these figures here were sent to me for review, but there's a whole bunch, like the rest of the Collector Edition figures, that I'll be buying myself, and I'll be getting those from Green Rock Comics. Great store, free shipping over $100. That's pretty awesome. And these figures will also be hitting the excellent folks at Pop Culture very soon. That's popculture.com.au. A great store, awesome range. If you visit Pop Culture and you order McFarlane Toys in stock items and use the code 15 McFarlane, that's 15 McFarlane, McFarlane at checkout, you'll get 15% off your order. So that is pretty cool. Big thank you to Pop Culture for supporting the channel and giving me that discount code for you guys to enjoy. So without any further ado, let's get into this crazy bunch of figures that really covers a broad spectrum of what DC Multiverse is all about. And I think we're just going to open it up and have a look at these a little bit freeform, one at a time, have a chat about the toys. We won't get too far into the weeds, but let's just see how we go and have some fun. It's so good to be back. Righto, so I think we are going to start with the Toxin Batman from Batman Begins. What a wild figure this is, and in many ways this kind of encapsulates McFarlane Toys' ethos when it comes to, what toys to select, what character designs to select to make a toy of. I mean, really, what other manufacturer would pick this scene from this movie and give you a figure of it? I would say none. And that's because Toddy McFarlane subscribes to the rule of cool. If there's a cool design that he likes, he will make a toy of it. And no doubt that scene where Jonathan Crane sees Batman through the eyes of his own fear toxin as this sort of demonic being, I can totally see why Todd, really appealed to him to get a figure of that gnarly head sculpt. And of course, it's great because he can reuse the Batman Begins body. Now, I haven't got that Batman Begins figure. Hope to get it soon and review it, but this is sort of my first look at that new body, and I gotta say, it looks pretty cool. Maybe not 100% accurate, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Let me get him free from his prison and let's take a look at what we get. This figure does look good, I've got to say. So immediately, right off the bat, I'm really loving this wash that he has applied to the batsuit here. So instead of just plain black molded plastic, we get this sort of really nice sort of textured, weathered look. It's all down the legs here, it's all over the chest, which is beautifully sculpted, I've got to say. And I'm loving that sort of flatter armor look with that more like textured chainmail underneath. It's a beautiful contrast. Look at the paint on that gold belt. It looks so good. I love that. And again, the mixture of glossy and matte here for the gauntlets. Not sure how accurate that is, but it looks awesome. I'm just really loving the look of this figure, I've got to say, and the feel. It's just a great big chunky plastic boy. It's got the cloth cape and it's that sort of starchier fabric that is not my favorite, but in this case the shape of the cape is quite good and the wires are nice and strong and it sits quite nicely. So this is one of the better starchy capes I've seen. I wish he would stop using this starchy material, but this kind of looks alright. It looks alright. A bit chintzy, a bit plasticky, but good for posing and better than a big chunky plastic cape. But yeah, I'm really loving the look of this one, guys. The star of the show here is, of course, the head sculpt, which is immaculate. Look at that. Look at that. That's why Todd wanted to do it, because he wanted to sculpt this head, and I think he has nailed it. So yeah, I mean, the figure itself, total winner. It's just really niche. Like, do you need this for your collection? I don't think anyone does, unless you're going to make a specific scene involving this guy. But the point is that if you do, no one else is going to do it. Mattel is not going to give you this. So, that's one thing. Everyone can say, well, great that Mattel's got the license and what have you, but they ain't going to give you this. In terms of accessories, it comes with the grappling gun, the batarang. They're cast in gold, alternate fists with the sort of gauntlets in it. They're fine. It's a decent array of accessories. And of course, in the box, you get the art card and the display stand. We're not going to waste too much time in it. The star of the show here is the figure, and it's done really well. What did he have to do to nail this figure? He had to nail the head sculpt. Done. Check. Success. And just by way of comparison, let's bring in the Dark Knight Christian Bale Batman. You can see the differences in the armor, in the suit there. Yeah, I mean, I like this one better. I think this one looks way cooler. I love the weathering on this. I'd love an actual just regular Batman figure with this sort of weathered look. Brilliant. If I wanted to be picky, I would say that the Batman Begins suit had a more like solid neck rather than this helmet look, so it doesn't quite have the profile that it should, but that's just nitpicking. I mean, this looks tremendous, and yeah, if this is sort of in any way up your alley, you won't be disappointed. This rocks. How about Michael Keaton, Batman 1989? All right, there you see we have the display stand and collector card, but again, we're just not getting into that. We don't have time tonight. We've got too many toys to look at. Here is the figure in the clamshell. Looks pretty good, but I must say pretty familiar. Let's see how familiar he really is when we get him out. Some of the unique aspects here is the array of accessories. Like, this is wild. This is like collector edition level of accessories with like the stars, the throwing stars. I believe these are for the wings to spread them out. We'll have a look at those in a minute. I mean, look at all the gadgets and hands. That is awesome. That is awesome. And if you ask me, that should be the standard for all, like, $30 action figures on the market today. That's US dollars, 45 Australian dollars. This should be what we get, but it's actually rare to get something this feature stacked. So well done, McFarlane, on this. Let's get him free. All right, he's finally free. Michael Keaton. Now this is interesting. So immediately what I'm noticing is the cape on this guy is the starchy material that I've complained about not liking, but this has no wire in it at all, and presumably that's because it gives you these extra parts here to spread the cape out. And yeah, that's a really interesting choice. I wonder why they went with this fabric again. Very, very interesting. Before we have a look at the accessories, let's just have a look at the core figure. And from what I remember, this is kind of identical to the one we got with the Batmobile and in the theatrical six-pack. Let's bring in my theatrical six-pack version that came in that big box set and compare them. And look, they kind of look exactly the same to me. To my first impression, naked eye, the details look very similar. Is the belt different? I don't know that it is. It's very similar. If not identical. Maybe there's a slight change in the paint. If anything, this guy looks a little bit glossier and this guy looks a little bit matte. So the new one, I would say, is slightly glossier looking. It might just be a finish on the plastic or the precise plastic that they've used. This has a sort of a more of a gloss to it, perhaps. But otherwise, these look identical to me. And so the primary difference here is the cape. The movie six-pack came in this sort of like clothier sort of material that I think just flows a little bit nicer than this starchy stuff. So that's I think one reason why I would say this is sort of still my preferred version. Accessories aside, yeah, I just think this one has a much nicer cape than this. The head sculpt's interesting. Do you think those are exactly the same? Do you think one has a better likeness than the other? Let me know in the comments if you think these are exactly the same. And again, you will see the ears are slightly bendy. They're not perfectly straight up like in the film. And of course, the neck sort of just has that helmet look instead of the, continuous line from cowl to shoulder, which I think is the biggest weakness of this figure, is that the cowl just doesn't quite look movie accurate. But in terms of likeness, I think it's a very good likeness for Michael Keaton. The bat symbol looks good. All the details look pretty nice. Not quite movie accurate, but like pretty good. And I think you'd be hard pressed to complain. Let's have a look at the accessories and see how they all work, particularly those wing pieces. All right, so let me just see how we, attach these pieces. I'm going to do this live on camera so that you can just see how ridiculous I am. Like, do these port in? Ah, okay, so this goes in his hand. So presumably you would spread them out like that. And that's what she said. Okay, finally got that in there. Okay, so after some finagling, I think I sort of get the idea of what you're meant to do, which is extend them like that, which allows you to recreate that scene from the start of Batman 1989. You know, who are you? I'm Batman. And then he, you know, does the wings. Very, very cool, actually. Like, that is kind of good. Like, I don't know if this is the most elegant way to achieve this effect, but it kind of does look like what he did in the film. Like, he kind of did look like he was, I don't know, holding like a skeletal frame to do that. So that's cool, and that gives you a really nice display option for this figure. Like, if you want to do something unique on the shelf, no other Batman will kind of look like this, for better or for worse. I think for better. I think that looks pretty rad, to be honest. And then when you couple that with like the insane amount of accessories that this figure comes with, it's kind of, if you haven't got a Keaton, like, this may be the one to get. I might have to sort of eat my words about the cape. And yeah, that's kind of rad. So that is 2 for 2, 2 wins for 2. And McFarlane, I think, has just been, in general, nailing it with these movie figures. Like, that seems to be where he excels, and you can kind of see where the money goes with these figures in terms of the sculpts, the likeness. Yeah, real winner. Who shall we do next? I think we got to do Captain Cold, because if I'm being honest with you, Captain Cold here is the one I've been looking forward to the most, because I am a sucker for flash rogues and just really lame, stupid villains. And Captain Cold is pretty stupid and goofy, and in the best possible way. Look at that hot pink, like, freeze gun. That is sick. And look at all those extra hands and the face plates. Cannot wait to open this guy up. So let's just do it, shall we? Alrighty, so here's Captain Cold out of the box, looking sick in his clamshell. I love the look of this guy. So much personality already, and the accessories look rad. Of course, it comes with the collector card and the display stand, but as per usual, we are just not going to go into that today because we have too many toys to look at. So let's get Captain Cold free from his clamshell, and again, with these zip ties that are the bane of my existence. Give me a moment. Alright, Captain Cold is finally free, and I've been waiting for this guy for so long. And look at that, he's got a plastic band around his face. I wonder why that is there. Is that to keep the faceplate in? Oh, you know what this is? There's a plastic band around his face. Do you see that? It's to keep the faceplate from falling off, because he had those Huntress figures from a recent collector edition wave where the faceplate was falling off in the box. So you had this hideous looking freak of Huntress sitting in the box looking like that. And, like, you know, inbox collectors were just furious because, you know, their figure looked terrible in the box. To which I say, stop being an inbox collector, open your toys, play with your toys, for heaven's sake. You know, you're a grown man, play with your toys. Anyway, let me go and get his faceplate, and then let's take another look at the figure. Okay, so I've collected Captain Cold's faceplate, and you'll see, you know, we might as well have a look at it while we're here. I'm loving the faceplate idea that McFarlane's come up with. So, you know, everyone's been saying, give us more alternate heads, give us more alternate heads. But McFarlane has come up with a really nifty way of giving us alternate looks without going to the cost of a whole new head sculpt, or where it's completely unnecessary. And, like, for something like Captain Cold here, where, you know, the faceplate will just sit in there seamlessly, you won't even tell it's a faceplate. That looks perfect, and you just have this, you know, really, really cool, menacing look. And look, while we're just looking at the figure itself, what a freaking awesome figure this is. Now, I know that this is a reuse of the Page Punchers Captain Cold that we got a couple of years ago in that sort of funky, modern Page Punchers design. Like, you can just see that the body is a straight reuse. But, you know, look how much better is this new one. Like, this one is, like, you know, it's unique, it's interesting, but now that I have this one can just, like, go in a tub somewhere. There is no purpose for it in my collection anymore, because this is Captain Cold. Now, I'm of two minds about all this, like, textured detail here. On the one hand, it looks great. McFarlane does really well with the detailed sculpts, and even the paint application here is really nice. There's like a wash there just to bring out those details, and on the abdomen too. Like, that's great. But on the other hand, this is all maybe a little bit too detailed for Captain Cold. He's got this sort of classic outfit on, and part of me wishes he was maybe just a little bit more spandexy looking. I'm nitpicking. Like, you really can't complain about this figure. Look at the beautiful, beautiful texture work on his gloves. You know, it's just brilliant. I love the gold paint on the belt here. The texture work on the sort of cowly scarf bit, the sculpt of the hood, the fur around his Head has got like sort of a dirty wash on it. Yeah, this guy looks brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from head to toe. Let's just have a look at some of the other faceplates while we're at it, because I think that is kind of important to get a sense of the versatility of the looks you can achieve. Alright, so before I put some of the other faceplates in, you'll see that I've changed his hands over. He comes with like 6 hands in total. I like this gesture hand here on his left hand. Just good, a really good evil gesture hand. And of course there is the gun holding hand here. And you'll see I've put the freeze gun in there, but can I tell you that like that barely fits. Like that barely fits in his hand. I had to stretch that plastic to get it in. I should have warmed it up with a bit of hot water or a hairdryer, but like it barely holds it. So unless I'm missing something and I'm just being a total idiot, that hand is not suitable for this accessory. So that's kind of weird and silly. Like, yeah, like he barely holds it. But anyway, minor nitpick. Let's put one of the other faceplates on. This is the sort of smug, smiling faceplate, where he's up to some sort of casual villainy, which I quite like. And of course, in addition to that one, we get a third face, which is the sort of scowling, angry, unimpressed face. And there it is. Really, really cool. So 3 different emotions you get. I happen to like the one that comes in the packaging with the maniacal grin. I just think that is the most personality and the most fun sort of for posing on the shelf. So yeah, this figure, total winner every way. Sculpt, paint, the design choices. It's figures like this that kind of make me kind of melancholy if McFarlane really does stop making DC figures, because he's coming into his own. Like, he's really learnt a lot over these few years, and some of the figures that are being released in the digital lines and the page punches and the collector edition in particular are just really blowing me away. Like, finally we're getting these amazing designs that we've always wanted, and the sculpt and paint are just bangers, and like, it's just, he's kind of giving us everything we wanted. It just feels like maybe it's a couple of years later than we would have liked it. And I really hope he gets the chance to just keep making cool DC figures, because this is one of them. Like, this to me is like a quintessential Captain Cold. If you can point me to a better Captain Cold figure, sort of from a mass retail line, let me know. This is the only 7-inch Captain Cold you'll ever need in your life. So, yeah, corker of a figure. Absolutely love it. Alright, what to do next? I think it's time we do Tempest. Yes, Tempest. Look at him. Tell me that doesn't look like Adam Driver. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Yeah, anyway, sorry. That to me looks like Adam Driver. Of course, this is Aqualad to me. It'll always be Aqualad. But Tempest is his name. It's the Titans Rebirth version. Let's get him open. Alright, so here is Tempest. Looking quite nice, but like, the colors are really striking. I like that, but I'm also noticing that this box is really empty. This clamshell has got nothing going on. He's wearing some effects pieces on his arms already. Otherwise, there's just no accessories in that clamshell. So you get the effects pieces in there, and you get the display stand and the card. So this feels really light on. But let's get him free from his prison and, see if the figure itself is strong enough to make up for it. Okay, so here he is. Here we have Tempest. Now, to my understanding, Tempest is just the original Aqualad, who's Garth and, original Aquaman sidekick, Aqualad in the Titans, Teen Titans, came back eventually as Tempest, sort of a more powered up version. And like, this seems reasonably accurate to what we saw in the comics. Like, this figure is clearly a bit of reuse. So let's bring in the original Aqualad release from the page punches. This is the version of Aqualad here, who I believe might be the son of Black Manta in canon. This is that version, and this is the sort of Garth version. And you can see that this is pretty much a straight reuse. In a lot of ways, the body is exactly the same, but you'll see that the paint application is very, very different on the torso. This has like a wash on it, and overall you get like a very different effect. So even though it's reuse, I think it's just very, very clever, and you'll see that the diaper piece is completely different. So while the legs are the same, I think this is just one of those examples, just really smart reuse. Just get another Aqualad out using the same basic buck with some modifications, and you've got 2 very, very unique figures that don't just look like carbon copies of another. I gotta say, off the top, this is easily the better figure, just from a sculpt overall design, look, paint, very, very cool. But this is no slouch. Like, this is not bad at all. I really like the color scheme. I like the sort of purpley plastic they used for his legs. The paint here is all crisp, so the costume continues down into the leg. It's all painted, not sculpted, but the paint's very, very crisp, and that's nice. I like the design. I like the silver paint. Everything just looks very clean on this guy, just very crisp, and I do like that wash. It feels like this is the last 12 months have just been a discovery of washes for McFarlane. Like, he's figured out that if you just, put a little bit of paint there, it'll just bring out that sculpt beautifully. All these sort of like markings, tattoos, whatever they are on his skin, they look really good. Like, they're just very crisp, very clean. I think maybe one of the biggest weaknesses is the head. It's not bad at all, but like, the hair just looks like Justin Bieber or Kylo Ren. It's very, very neatly sculpted, and in my opinion, someone like Aqualad or Tempest should sort of have like hair that's flowing like he's underwater, like a little bit more chaotic, like to suggest movement. And I find his facial expression maybe just a little derpy, and it's a combo, I think, of the derpy sort of smiley face and that boy band hair that something, it could have been better. I think this head sculpt is probably the weakest part. A more dynamic sort of facial expression with like flowing hair, and he would have rocked. Yeah, and even on the hair, it's got like a blue bit of wash applied to it, or blue paint to give it some depth. This is really nice. Like, it's not going to knock me out. Like, there's nothing remarkable about this figure that's going to blow me away. But like, if you wanted this version of the character, if you wanted a Tempest for your Titans, this is pretty good. Like, there's not much to complain about. I just think this is one of those classic cases where there's just not that many accessories in the box, and the one that he's really missing is an alternate head. Alternate head with like flowing hair and like a emotional or angry face or something would have looked really cool. These effects that go on his hands are like better than usual because they actually clip on really, really nicely, and you don't have to guess what to do with them. They don't fall off. Like, they're good. I might even leave them on, which is rare for me. I usually throw those in a tub. Like, this is just like one of those like 7 out of 10 rock solid figures. You can't complain about it. It's nothing mind blowing, but if you want to fill in your roster or have this guy in your collection, you'll be happy with this. Like, you'll be pleased. It fits the bill. It's good enough. It's fun. It's nice. Well executed without being sort of inspirational. So yeah, that is Tempest, which just leaves Jokerized Death Metal Batman. Now this is some weird stuff. Let's get it open and let's talk about it. All right, so getting rid of the box, like, you'll see that like this is just like one of those stacked packages which has like the double clamshell. Oh boy. All right, let's start here. So these Jokerized figures just weirdly come with so much extra stuff, like the display stand, Dark Knight's metal, like that's super unique in paint and look, like, so that's like extra effort. The card stand that no one really likes is back, but like with extra paint and effort. The card has been updated to put the Jokerized stuff on it. Like, he goes all out for this really esoteric stuff. Here are the playing cards that I know some people are really into and collect. So not taking anything away from anyone when I say that this is not my personal cup of tea, but like, you do you. Yeah, so here we are. You get the playing cards. It doesn't do much for me, but like, I know people collect them, and you get some more, so that's pretty cool. All right, so here he is out of the package, Jokerized Death Metal Batman. Now, I got some real mixed feelings about this one because, like, on the one hand, I'm not a fan of the Jokerized stuff. Like, it really does nothing for me personally, but I know that there are a lot of people who really like this sort of thing, and they like the sort of fun, different nature of it. And, I think if you do, you'll probably like this. Like, the purple suit is really striking. I love the way he's painted the buckles on the coat blue. That's a really nice detail to match the chains on the belt. The orange, the slightly darker blue for the emblem, and of course, that head sculpt with a big cheesy Joker smile, really nicely done, and like the blue wash on the spikes. Like, they've put some love and attention into this, and it doesn't hurt that like this sculpt. I mean, man, this sculpt. Let's just bring in the OG. This Death Metal Batman from the first year of the line, probably the single coolest thing that McFarlane's ever made in DC Multiverse. I know that's a big call, but like in combination with the bike, this is like, I think, the coolest release. the most unique, the coolest, and the exemplification of like what McFarlane does with a license. Cool one-panel designs, you know, like the rule of cool. Again, he picked it. This is a sick design for Batman out of that death metal event, and he executed it perfectly. Great sculpted detail, just really sick stuff. So one of the best figures he's ever done. And now he's re-released it like this, and this just is not as good. Like, it's just not. This is something that if you didn't have the original, you wouldn't get this. You would just go hunt down the original on eBay, and it makes you think, well, why didn't Todd just reissue that original death metal Batman? Surely that would be more popular, but hey, who am I to say? The people who love the Jokerized stuff, you'll like this. This is one of the best ones he's done, one of the coolest base buck figures, sculpts, whatever, that's ever got this sort of treatment. So from that perspective, like, it's, you know, if you're into the Jokerized stuff, this is probably the best one you'll get, in my opinion. Like, yeah, sick design, sick sculpt, and this is just in a fun color scheme, and it won't appeal to everybody, but the good news is you do not have to buy it. It is what it is, a fine figure for what it is. If you like that sort of thing, I think you won't be disappointed with that. So yeah, that is Jokerized Death Metal Batman. Alright guys, so that is my look at these 5 figures. You know, a really eclectic bunch, I think you'll agree, and just a really good example of the sort of different wild swings McFarlane will take, and sort of the different things you can sort of expect when you collect this line. But, you know, in terms of the overall figure range, these collector edition figures with classic designs of core, like, heroes and villains, you know, filling out the wider DC universe, it's the best thing he's doing. You know, these collector editions have just got better and better, in my opinion, and this is a banger. Captain Cold is easily the best figure of these 5, easily my favorite. I would say in terms of you know, objective quality, the Batman Begins Fear Toxin one would have to rank number 2, even though, you know, it's not that essential to my collection. Then I would say Tempest, because I'm biased. I just like to fill out my rosters, and that's a really great addition to have. Michael Keaton, we've seen it before. There's nothing new except for that cape design and all those accessories, but hey, that's not to be sneezed at. Like, that's pretty cool for an overall package. And bringing up the rear is the Jokerized Death Metal Batman. So, like, fairly strong wave offering assortment. Of course, this is not everything in the wave. There are 2 other collector edition figures. There's other Batman Begins figures. There is so much more to come. So hopefully I get my orders soon from those great retailers I mentioned earlier, Pop Culture and Green Rock Comics. And when I get those, I hope to bring you some reviews. And I might bring it more to a traditional format next time, review them in detail one by one. But today, because I got this sick haul, and since I haven't done, you know, a video for so long, I just thought I'd give you an embarrassment of riches. Like, let's just go through it all. Let's talk about it, and let's have some fun. And that is what it's all about. It's all about fun, and yeah, it's been fun to be back talking toys. Remember, if you thought this video was fun or entertaining on your end, why not, you know, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, there's lots more to come. And like I said, if you are going to shop at popculture.com.au, and why wouldn't you, you can use the exclusive code 15McFarlane. That's 15McFarlane, and you'll get 15% off any in-store items from McFarlane Toys at Pop Culture. So apply that at checkout, get 15% off. Like, why wouldn't you? That's just awesome. These figures should be in stock soon, so just jump on them, use the discount code, get yourself a bargain, and you know, get over $100, and I think it's free shipping as well, so that's even better. A big thank you to you for watching, as always. I'll see you on the next one in a more traditional format, and I am looking forward to it. Until then, guys, stay safe, stay well, happy collecting, and thanks for watching.